Hello, Starshine. This is Smadar from Song of Stones, and I am a crystal whisperer, which means I talk to stones and they talk to me. And today I'm here with a very special crystal and a fun story. Last night, while I was sleeping, I was actually not sleeping so well. I was tossing and turning, and I think that part of that was because I had these other crystals beside my bed. Story for another time. I'm going to be telling you guys all about them, the other ones, in the next in an upcoming video and post. But while I was sleeping, I was tossing and turning. I heard a thump, and I heard a crystal falling, is what I thought. Well, I heard something falling, and I thought it was a crystal. And that happened 3 times, where I heard 3 things falling on the ground. And I actually got up to check because I didn't want to wake up in the morning or in the middle of the night and have somebody trip on it. So I got up just to check if there was anything on the floor, and there was nothing. And then this morning, when I looked under the bed, and there was this crystal. And okay, so mystery solved. How did it get there? It could have been, it could have fallen from the sky, could have fallen from the heavens. That's always possible with the crystals. It could have just appeared. It didn't just appear because it fell, because I heard it. Or it could have been that it was in my bed somehow, that somehow it got into my bed, and when I was moving around, it fell to the floor off the blankets. Sometimes when you move around at night, you move the blankets. You know what, though? Either way, it doesn't matter. It's just as magical, to me anyway, because this crystal wanted my attention, and it got it one way or another. And we still have the mysterious other 2 times to figure out what, because I looked everywhere and there was no other crystals, so maybe this crystal really did want my attention. So what is this crystal? This is, you might not recognize it. It is what I call a light bud crystal. There's a whole story behind this crystal. I originally got these crystals. This one there were 2 types. One was a more highly polished one, and they were smaller. So really bright, clear crystals. And a lot of them had rainbows. And these larger ones, this is actually one of the largest that I have. I do have more larger, but just to say that there were 2 types. One was larger, one was a little smaller. The smaller ones were brighter and more vibrant, and these larger ones were more opaque. You can see they're not completely opaque, and they do have pockets of shimmers and light. You can see it more on the website if you want to check them out, and you can also hear the more of the story of it. But basically, these guys came to me as a zestulite, and I hope that I am doing their doing honor to their name because I'm not 100% sure how to pronounce it. And then it came to my attention that I don't remember the details, but it came to my attention that these were not, that azeztulite comes from South Carolina, and I believe these come from Arizona. And the ones, and so I was calling them azeztulite when I should not have been, because the ones that are called azeztulite come from South Carolina. So I immediately made that change on my website, and I didn't know what I should call them. So I listened, and they did share a beautiful song, really beautiful song. I just reread what they shared, and I was glad for having done so, because I'm always learning from the crystals, even if they've taught me something already. I go back and because I forget. There's crystals have shared so much with me, and I can't keep track of everything. But when I went back and reread the song that they shared, which is what I call their messages, it was as if it was the first time. And then this morning, when I picked up this crystal off the floor and sat with it, what I heard was that they connect us with the star people. So they can help us bring through messages from star people. And there was something else that I heard from them. And I want to say this respectfully and honor people that are bringing through the trademarked names, because I believe that we all are doing our best, and we're all, most of us, I think most of the times, people are coming from a pure heart in the crystal world. I'm not going to say 100%, because listen, we live in a world where dollar signs are very important, and it's very easy to get caught up in the capitalism. I'll just leave it at that. And so, but what they wanted me to relay is that sometimes people bring through messages from the crystals and call them channeled messages if you want. And they're beautiful and pure and true, but sometimes those messages are the end all and be all of the crystal. And what they wanted me to share was that there's more to it. There's always more to it. There's always more to a crystal, and there's always more messages to share, and not to get caught up in let me see if I can say it again. If you remember me telling you the story, I had a sleepless night. So excuse me if my words are not flowing so gracefully today. So don't limit your crystals by what they say in the books or in the channeled messages. And again, that's not because the channeled messages aren't true, and it's not because what's written in the books aren't true. And this also explains why you can pick up 5 different books and they all say different things. I mean, generally speaking, sometimes crystals have certain characteristics that are across the board with their particular type of crystal. Like rose quartz, for example, everybody connects rose quartz to the heart and to love. But then each one will have its own message and personality. So if you're picking up a rose quartz crystal and it's talking to you about something completely different than love, that's not wrong. It's just, there's more. There's more. There's always more. So that's the message from these crystals. And if you want to hear more about how they came to be and more about the differences between them and the azeztulite crystals, because they are the same geology, they are the same physical characteristics, they just come from different places. And coming from different places can make all the difference. You know, a quartz crystal from Arkansas is very different than a quartz crystal from Brazil, and a quartz crystal from Russia, and a quartz crystal from, the UK. They all are different, even though they have the same geology. So, all this to say, what am I trying to say here? Because that's the question I have right now. Be open to the magic, no matter how it comes to you. Whether it comes through what seems like a mundane thing, that a crystal fell from the blanket rather than the stars, that and be open to all that a crystal has to offer, even though you've heard and felt and sensed something specific from a crystal. That doesn't mean there isn't something more. And be open to some messages from the star people. And that's today what this crystal has shared with me. And if I do get more, if I do get a message from a star person or star people, I will definitely let you know. But for now, I just wanted to come in and share this magical story with you and remind you to be open to the magic that happens. And even when there's a logical explanation, it doesn't negate the magic. Both can be true. And I invite you to check out the story and the song that these crystals shared. I will link to the song in the blog post today. And I will probably have the link in, well, I don't know, I will have some links in the Sunday Sparkle newsletter, and maybe some more magic in there. And we're going to be meeting very soon. I think it's it's tomorrow that we're meeting at our Crystal Live, and we can talk more about it there. And I invite you to come and bring your magical stories and bring your magical crystals and bring your magical questions, your questions about crystals, and be ready for for a beautiful experience and a reconnecting with your stone in a new way. And also to meet some really beautiful people. Yeah, I think that's all I had to say today. And enjoy, let's take a moment just to pause and enjoy the energy of this crystal and see if you're picking up on a message from it. We'll just take a moment to take a breath. And in that breath, I'm seeing deeper into the crystal. And I already see that it has more stories and more depth than I have seen so far. There's a portal there. And I see a magical star being, a being of light. I invite you to check in with this crystal and see what you're feeling from it and what you're sensing, and enjoy the magic of it. Sending you lots of love.